Deep inside a beautiful sunlit garden, there lived a proud peacock named Percy. Percy had the most magnificent tail in the entire garden. His feathers shimmered with brilliant shades of emerald and sapphire. Whenever Percy opened his tail, the animals would gather around him. They would clap, they would cheer, and they would admire his beauty. Percy loved the attention, he loved feeling important, and he loved the applause. Over time, Percy began to believe that his value came from the approval of others. As long as the crowd cheered for him, he felt worthy. But without their applause, he wasn't sure who he was. One bright afternoon, a clever fox approached Percy. The fox stared at his beautiful feathers and said, "Percy, your feathers are the most beautiful things I have ever seen." Percy smiled proudly. Then the fox said, "I wish I could have one." Wanting to be liked even more, Percy gently pulled out one of his feathers and handed it to the fox. The fox thanked him and walked away happily. Soon, the other animals noticed. A rabbit wanted a feather, then a squirrel, then a deer, then a bird. "Give me one too, Percy. You are so kind." "I wish I had a feather like yours." Terrified of losing their attention, Percy continued giving away his feathers, one after another, day after day. The more he gave, the more they demanded, and Percy was too afraid to say no. Weeks passed. His beautiful tail became smaller and smaller, yet the crowd never seemed satisfied. Then, one cold morning, Percy gave away his very last feather. He looked behind him. His magnificent tail was gone. Only a bare gray back remained. The animals stared at him. Some laughed, some whispered, and one by one, they walked away. No applause, no admiration, no friends, just silence. Percy sat alone, shivering in the cold, heartbroken and empty. As Percy sat beside a quiet pond, tears rolled down his face. He looked at his reflection in the water and barely recognized himself. "I gave them everything," he whispered. "Why wasn't it enough?" Just then, an old swan gracefully glided across the pond. The swan stepped onto the shore and approached Percy. "My friend," the swan said softly, "why do you cry?" Percy lowered his head. "I gave them all my feathers so they would stay. I gave them everything I had. But now I have nothing left. And they abandoned me." The old swan listened quietly. Then he smiled. "Percy, you spent your life trying to buy the approval of others. You gave away pieces of yourself just to keep people happy. But true friends do not require you to destroy yourself to earn their love." Percy looked up. The swan continued, "Anyone can enjoy your gifts. But the people who truly care about you will value you even when you have nothing to give." Those words stayed with Percy. For the first time, he understood what had gone wrong. He had spent so much time trying to please everyone else that he had forgotten to care for himself. So Percy made a decision. He stopped chasing applause, he stopped trying to impress the crowd, and he walked away from the noisy part of the garden. Near the peaceful pond, he found a quiet place beneath a tree. There he rested. There he healed. There he learned to enjoy his own company. Days passed, then weeks, then months. Slowly, new feathers began to grow, one feather, then another, and another. Soon, Percy had a beautiful tail once again. But this time, something was different. His confidence no longer came from the crowd. It came from within. One day, the animals returned. As soon as they saw his magnificent feathers, they rushed toward him. "Percy, give us another show." "Open your tail. We want to see your feathers." But Percy simply smiled. He kept his tail folded, turned around, and calmly walked away. For the first time in his life, he didn't need their applause, because he had finally found peace. That day, Percy learned a lesson that many of us need to hear. In life, it is easy to seek validation from others. We want people to approve of us. We want to be liked. We want applause. But if you constantly sacrifice your energy, your happiness, your time, and your boundaries just to keep others satisfied, you will eventually be left exhausted and empty. Remember this: your worth is not determined by how many people praise you. And real relationships never require you to lose yourself in order to keep them. Stop tearing yourself apart for the approval of others. Protect your peace, keep your feathers, and know your value. Because the people who truly care about you will stay, even when you have nothing to give.